Hey gamers. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, Cherry. What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be at your job? Shouldn't you be at your day job? I mean, I guess I should be too. It's my fucking weekend, dude. Hey Brandon. Hey Cherry. Hey Hunter. Your mom died yesterday? I'm sorry to hear that, man. What a thing to do, what a bomb to drop first thing in the morning. Fuck. Alright. I'm gonna pull up the game. You're fucking sick? I'm sorry to hear that, dude. You took the opportunity? Ah! Well, I hope you have enough PTO. I hope you have enough UPT to, not instantly get fired. I'm not sure if every company just sort of does it the same way. I can imagine. Whole Foods used to have a strike system, built into its murder factory. Yeah. Whole Foods used to have a murder system, a strike system built into the murder factory. But they finally switched, recently they switched over to UPT and PTO on stuff, which is actually kind of fucking funny. New deadly innovations being invented every day you're not around. Very good. How's my morning? I just woke up. It took me a while to... I mean, my body naturally wakes up around 7. At least here in Washington State. Here on the Pacific Coast. Which, I mean, I guess if I still lived in Texas, I'd probably be naturally waking up at 10 o'clock. Which is interesting. My morning's been chill. I haven't done anything. I haven't eaten breakfast or anything. At 9? I see. Oh. I thought... Because I'm Pacific time zone now instead of Central. And I thought... And Mountain time zone is an hour from Central, but I thought it was 3 hours from Pacific. Well, I guess it's only an hour at a time, huh? Never mind. So I guess it would be 2 hours at 9. Okay, yeah. You got my ass. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't know why I thought it was 3 hours. I don't know why I thought it skipped an hour. The game. Hello, Fatch. The game. Feel bad for you, and that's what life means to you and me. Hello, Yale. But good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's had a good night. I'll tell you what I did do this morning, because it got super windy last night, and I was scrolling through YouTube, and one of the live streams at the top of my thing that popped up just before I started the stream was a King 5 live weather report. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I've ever watched the news up here. You know? And I was like, I certainly haven't watched, like, a weather report, because last night here, it got up to 22 mile per hour winds with, like, 40 mile per hour gusts. So things were starting to get ripped up and shit. So I was like, okay, well, let me watch a weather report. And it's a little different from South Central Texas, because in South Central Texas, they're usually just like, it's hot, or here's like a hurricane, here's like some tropical weather. Out here, they talk about elevation a lot, because South Texas is very sloped, pretty much downhill all the way from the Edmonds Plateau all the way to the coast. And it's a very gradual slope, so not much is going on in that effect. But here, I'm at, I think, 300 feet right now like downtown Seattle. And I am less than a mile away from the Pacific Coast, and it drops down to sea elevation pretty much instantly. And the same thing with, like, Cap Hill on the east side of me, it pretty much goes up another, like, 300 feet. It pretty much doubles the height at, like, Cap Hill's highest point. And then you go to, like, Snohomish. Not Snohomish. Like, if you go out east even further along the 90 to, like, Snoqualmie, then you're in, like, the Cascades. And then you go up, like, another 4,000 feet. It's crazy. So when they have to report the news around here, there's less than, like, 100 miles that they're talking about, and you have, like, an extremely different weather report. It's really wild. Between the different areas. It's crazy. Whereas in Texas, where I used to live at in San Antonio was, like, 150 miles away from Corpus Christi, and you'd pretty much get the same weather report. There might be, like, a 10-degree difference. There might be, like, a 5-degree difference in temperature, but the elevation would pretty much be the same. So, it was weird going from like the area I was in Texas, and then like shrinking it down to less than a mile here in Seattle. Kind of fucking insane. Like, there was 22-mile-per-hour winds where I am right now, but if I went up like 12 blocks to my coworker's house, it would be like 3-mile-per-hour winds. It's like, holy shit. But I think that's also because of the city structures. Garden Warfare 2 looking a little different, Cherry. That is true, man. But enough about that. Let's get into the video game. We're back again with Lunar Ascendant. Now, I wasn't sponsored to play this game oh so many moons ago. They just gave me a key, and I played a little, and I was like enthralled by it because I love a good boys style political narrative. Not The Boys, the TV show, but like visual novel type beat. And I can't resist. I love games like Suzerain, so this kind of itches that feel while I'm waiting for another Suzerain campaign to launch. We also do our Theocratic run. I was basically sponsored. They did contact me. I don't get anything out of it other than playing a game, which honestly I'm chill with. Am I liking the apartment, Brandon? Not too bad. I do miss my old apartment because it was the first apartment I moved out in on my own. But this second apartment has been treating me pretty well. It really compartmentalizes the objects that I like need, that I have like necessity in my life, and then like the junk I don't need, you know? Like I went to my, cause I live in like a rich people building, but I live in their garage like a little dog. It's smaller, yeah. It's about maybe like 10 or 20 feet smaller. And I picked up a Keurig, like a working Keurig. And I don't drink coffee, and I have no need for a Keurig. If I want to boil water, I use a pot and all that stuff, even though the Keurig boils it pretty quickly. And I have nowhere to put it on my kitchen counter, you know? So I have it, and it gave me the opportunity to be like, oh, hey, you know what I can do? I can move this object around. I can go contact people who might want a Keurig and then give it to them. So it did, my compartmentalization has given me an excuse to socialize with other people, I guess. The load lightens. The Artemis Science Coalition reports that recent changes to pollination infrastructure planning showed a positive effect on greenhouse operations. Current expansion activities are proceeding more smoothly, and internal projections indicate that future greenhouse growth will progressively advance under the present framework. The report notes that these conditions are expected to contribute positively to the long-term stability and scalability of plant-based food production on Artemis. Yes, that's what we like to see. We want self-sustainability agriculture as like much as possible, I think, because when the time comes for the United Earth Directorate to like start cutting like food or increase food prices, we'll have that backing. I think that's like the focus for me right now as far as like a political campaign. As far as like a political campaign and promise goes, there's all kinds of other shit in the background right now, but I think right now I would be focused on self-sustainability. Hey, Graham. Graham's house was specifically blown up by Trump, and only his house. I'm sorry. Yeah, rest in peace, Graham. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I hope you get better. It's wonderful that I'm sorry you died. My counter is small where I have a microwave on it, and I have stuff on it for more space. Yeah, there's actually a nice little nook above my fridge. So I had to buy like a step stool so I can access the top of my fridge for more storage. I keep my deep fryer and my ice cream maker up there. Meet the chairwoman Alvarez of the corporate consortium. You hear the door knock twice, and Jess pokes her head through the door. Fuck. Juliet Inez Alvarez. That's not her name. Miss Alvarez is here, boss. She then opens the door and allows a woman in. The woman is in her early 40s, wearing a tight dark red skirt suit, and skirt suit goes crazy. High heels that match her outfit. The color of her suit complements her smooth caramel skin. What a fucking way to put that. Why would they put it that way? Can't believe Graham is a ghost. It was fated. You notice that even though she's a curvy woman, what the fuck? With thick lines, she carries herself with a grace that serves as a subtle testament on just how physically fit and strong she is. She walks toward you and stands close, possibly a bit too close. She holds your hand for a shake, and the long painted nail of her thumb softly caresses the top of your hand. Throughout this almost inappropriate interaction, she maintains a daring eye contact until she finally lets go of your hand. Mr. Mayor, it's a pleasure to meet you. The words seep like honey through her full red lips. She knows how to use her advantages. She knows it very well. Sorry, I hit my Windows key. I watched your speech, and I must say, you and I will get along famously. Your hopes, ideas, and plans for the future of this city seem like a perfect fit for what I need, what we need. The corporate consortium? I agree. I want to work with the corporate consortium. We? The corporates of Artemis, of course. We as the corporate consortium are the lifeline of the city. We are what keeps it running and keeps it ticking, what keeps it as high-value investment for Earth. We are good to them, as long as we are productive for them, you see. And our legal departments are fighting day in and day out to keep them from bureaucratizing their way into our businesses by coming up with elaborate treaties that somehow always favor in their interests. Therefore, it's simple. We need to establish independence if we want to be truly in power. I agree. He says things but never commits sometimes. He didn't? I mean, he did not invade Greenland yet. He has not invaded Greenland, and he's not turned Canada into the 51st state yet. You plan on how we're going to achieve that? Cooperation without total independence. Go ahead, I'm listening. You should know that dependency means slavery, Mr. Mayor. You are, after all, from a working-class background, aren't you? We need Earth to be dependent on us, not the other way around. Because if they get their way, they will suck us dry and leave us begging as they proceed to colonize more planets. All the while, they will feed us just enough to get by, and hope. I hate that word. Always for lazy people to believe that things they wish will come true, whether or not they take action, whether or not they show grit. But I digress. We're already struggling with the glass ceilings and export quotas they apply to keep us in check and make sure we are not getting our hands on enough funds to perform R&D on self-sustainability. Arranging trading terms to allow... We already read the Wayward Warding incident. Arranging trading terms to allow for lunar self-sustainability advancement, one of the main clauses of the commercial treaty that was signed following the Wayward Warden incident. And where are we now? Not a step farther. You understand the problem here? What are your thoughts on Lim? I find the lack of strategy and blunt effort to be primitive. Really? They have a lack of strategy? But they are a necessary nuisance, as they do not work in the favor of spreading awareness on the UEF headlock that our people unknowingly live in. They're manageable as long as they are kept measurable, which is not really a complex or sophisticated task. And the UEF? Oh, excuse me. They need to be eradicated from the presence of Artemis. They have the audacity of acting as a de facto governing force, which is unacceptable, though we need the proper financial leverage to ever attempt to do so. Which they will never let us have as long as we work with them and within their commercial rule set. We need independence, not just for our own good, but to force a makeshift check-balance occasion. They need to see that we stand without them, and that in such a scenario, they will be left without the resources that are exclusively extracted in Artemis's mines. This is not a zero-sum game. Once we level the financial ground by simultaneously pushing ourselves up and pulling them down, then we can consider allowing them back into our economy at a different capacity. See, this is interesting. I think, I don't know. I don't know much about, the national sovereignty question. I know Lenin covers this somewhere. But I think I definitely want to go for an independence route, but I don't want to axe the workers. That's the problem. What's your stance on AI? Everything we can use to our advantage in achieving independence and establishing self-subsistence is worth utilizing. AI is not evil in and of itself. Besides, who wouldn't want the machine to do all the work? It would definitely be less complicated to deal with. What about this pen system? I do. Do you? I mean, do you really? I'd tread carefully if I were you. That's a slippery slope, that's all I'll say for now. I see. Yeah, the pen system, I think, is where they crack open our skulls and steal our brains before we die, and then implement them into the computadora. In light of our overall conversation, I'm sure you understand our desires. I hope you can find it in your heart that they fall in line with yours, because we can very much use some financial support from our local government to tip the odds in our favor without raising too many flags on Earth's radar. I can promise that you will enjoy the benefits of it, along with the people of Artemis. She steps closer to you and runs a finger on your chest, which travels slowly down to your stomach and stops right before reaching your groin. We're not having sex. I'm not having sex with her. I'll be happy to I'll be happy to collaborate in the efforts for self-sustenance, Miss Alvarez. She smiles a nonchalant smile. You disregard to her advance. Doesn't seem to faze her. She takes a step back. Good call, Mr. Mayor. We will send you a draft of financial investment request shortly. Let's see where we can go from there. I would love that, actually. I would love to invest in the commercial collective here. Which, like, Pantheon. She turns around and leaves, walking a walk that feels like she's absolutely aware that you're staring at her. Alright, send the fucking thing over, dude, so I can sign it. Oxygen production research. The Artemis Science Coalition voices concern about the oxygen production capacity of Artemis and the sustainability potential of said production. The report specifically goes into detail on assessing how externally dependent we are about something so essentially vital. The report underlines that they are carrying out preliminary research preparations with corporate consortium to find accountable alternatives. Very good, very good. Earthwater. The UEF sent a form notification about the decreasing sources of clean water on Earth, informing Artemis that they have no choice but to offer one of two solutions. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they want to fucking... Was that a little voice crack? I would never... The first option is to lower the volume of water the Earth exports to Artemis, and the second is to increase the price significantly in the next quarter to compensate for the risk the Earth is taking by sending much-needed water to Lunar City. Yeah, I mean, that's why we built this fucking pump, dude. Possible measures to take on future terrorist attacks. Mr. Mayor, the investigation on the perpetrators of the attacks, as well as the possibility of similar future threats, is still in progress. We are exhausting all available resources in order to get our hands on information that will allow us to establish precautions and preemptive measures. We have multiple unconfirmed intel and chatter leads that indicate a possible attack in the near future, most definitely in a crowded place on city grounds. I feel obligated to bring this to your attention, the fact that we will need to bring an additional budget clearance in order to confirm the accountability of these leads and pinpoint the exact time and place that the attacks are planned to aim for. That's a big-ass run-on sentence. Jesus, put a comma in there. Apologies for stepping out of my position's boundaries to bring this up before presenting you with an actionable plan, but I would hate to see us falling short from preventing an attack due to budgetary shortages, only because I have failed to inform you soon enough. Our team is working on an action plan proposition for your review. I will personally deliver to you as soon as possible. Thank you, Solid. Not sure if I can sign off on it, but I'd love to. Thank you, King Solomon. Soil maintenance. Sorry? No! No! Wow. Book, delivered, book. The Lunar Workers Union, the LWU members submit anonymous requests to the Greenhouse Fields Management Office demanding the purchase of better equipment from the UEF. The report underlines that workers claim they are in need of new equipment to ease their workload process during the soil management and maintenance tasks, which is reported to be cumbersome and unnecessarily impractical. I wouldn't mind buying some more tools, buying better tools for them. Meet the leader of the Lunar Workers Union. Very good. Two knocks distract you from your work, and Jess pokes her head through the door. Mr. Boss. Hey, boss. Mr. Petrov from the Workers Union is here to see you. She takes a glance behind her and silently adds, I'll be right outside the door. She steps back, and an almost freakishly large man steps into the room. He's wearing a turtleneck sweater and plain work pants. You immediately notice that the man is built like a house, with thick forearms and legs. Tree trunk of a waist connects into a broad set of shoulders. His neck is almost as wide as his head. Probably a side effect from years of manual labor. Guess the economy is that bad? U.S. Marines were literally stealing oil off the trade ships earlier? Yeah! They got the damn military out there doing oil work, man. Contrary to his overall stature and his dark bushy hair and beard, his facial features are naturally soft and compassionate. Cold-bitten red cheeks and piercing blue eyes give him an approachable impression. Wasn't a viewer's dad a U.S. Marine and I got mad? Yeah, of course. I mean, it's not like the military doesn't have its like its day in the revolution, you know? There are people who like switch over. You know, I don't think the Red Army could have been where it got in the Soviet Union if there weren't like defectors. You know? But like a U.S. Marine? That's rough. That's... To be in the army right now, to be in the military right now as, like, an American, especially with being it only, like, volunteer, like, you are, like, you should, like, if you don't know that you are serving imperial interests, I don't know what to tell you. They talked about how they passed away and just kept trashing on them, and I'll do it again. You can't make me feel bad for your shit-ass father being Hitler. You can't make me feel bad for your dad being Hitler. I'm sorry. Military's just waiting to make another military regiment. I mean, there are militaries that would support a communist revolution. There are militaries out there that will support that. It's hard for me to imagine the American military doing that. I mean, there are a lot of conscripts right now, not conscripts, not even draftees, volunteers, that are making the excuse of like, oh, well, I want to do it for like a college education and all this other stuff. And, you know, those people can be reached, of course. But like, oh God. But like, if you're a U.S. Marine, I fucking, like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know, man. Sure, man, you can help the revolution. Don't go anywhere near a fucking position of leadership, please. Actual Hitler. Contrary to his overall stature and his dark bushy hair and beard, oh yeah, read that. He slowly walks up to you and reaches an enormous hand to shake yours. You take his hand and feel yours almost completely enveloped in calloused, rugged skin. His hold, to the contrary, is gentle. Finally, he speaks with a booming thunder of a tone, an unexpected, graceful care is gently embedded in each and uttered word. Mr. Mayor, thank you very much for your time and for seeing me. You can't imagine anyone having a hard time believing him if he were to say he just stepped out of a fairy tale. Thank you for taking the time to visit. His eyes become crescent moons, accompanying the shape of his large smile. His cheeks ridden with deep lines that accentuate with enthusiasm. Pleasure's mine, Mr. Mayor. I want to congratulate you in person and to have your ear for a modest minute regarding the working class of Artemis. I'm afraid you may be planning to head in a direction that you perhaps don't fully understand. I'd hate to overstep my boundaries, but your passion for independence may prove regrettable in the future. This is not something Artemis or her people can handle, and shouldn't your priority be just that? Her people? Those who put their blood and sweat day in and day out to keep the city a habitable place? The working class is suffering? It is only a fact, sir. You can see for yourself any time. The conditions are barely acceptable, but the people of Artemis are strong, and they believe in this city, and what we can become if we work hard. So they persevere. How can you be so against the idea of independence? I'm not against it as a concept, sir. To the contrary. Liberation from oppression is the essence of unionization as an idea. We also have to be realistic if we don't want to pay for our idealism with the lives of hardworking citizens of this city, like so many of us did in the Wayward Borden incident. I see. We cannot radicalize our policies with Earth, because we are dependent on them. Please keep a critical mind when listening to those who claim they are on the brink of achieving self-sustenance, sir. They are giving directives to their fancy scientists to formulate hypothetical solutions to their sterile labs, but they don't know what it's like to be down in the mines. They don't consider the feasibility of applying their so-called sustenance solutions on a wide scale, even if they did come up with one. They're looking for investment value, a new shtick for corporates to flood their cash into. They don't care if the solution will be comprehensive enough to help everyone. If you visit the mines, the factories, the docks, the conditions that working class not lives but survives through each day, I am positive you'll come to see that we are barely sustaining with Earth's help, and it would be a mass suicide to try to take that away. What we need is to come to better terms with the Earth, not step away from the table altogether. I assume you're not fond of the limb. They are misguided in their efforts, and the ideals they pursue are not to the benefit of the people. No, we do not see eye to eye with them at all, sir. Their childish efforts for consequence-free demands are imaginative at best. Imagination has no place in discussion of life and death. You must be in support of the UEF. It is the devil we know, and the one we must work with if we want to stay alive and see another day to prosper. We need better agreements, better conditions, and to have leverage in our negotiations with them. Of course, they will exploit us if they can, for such is the nature of the beast. It should be in our hands to fight for our rights, and force their hand to establish a fair, mutually beneficial state of trade dynamic. What do you think about AI? I think the same thing as almost everyone who came to Artemis in the first place. I think we're playing with fire. Human effort is what brought us to this day and age, sir. Blatant misuse of AI is a betrayal to our ancestors, and I do believe that we will bring our own end if we continue meddling with things that will render us seemingly obsolete. I say seemingly because call it a soul, call it God, call it our essence, call it a fluke, an evolution that created self-consciousness. Call it whatever you'd like. But there is something within humans that no matter how advanced the calculative properties of a computer may get, no matter how much data it reaches and consumes, it can never truly simulate. There are no Marxists. There are no Marxists amongst these trade unionists. I have seen it, sir. I've seen it in the eyes of a newborn baby. I've seen it in the last breath of a soldier on the battlefield, in the strength of a worker crawling through the mine to support his family, and in the eyes of a mother who goes hungry to feed her baby. I will never be convinced otherwise, and therefore I am not threatened by what the AI may become. I hope you make the right choices, sir. As a working class, we've bled enough throughout Earth's history, and we don't wish to take part in a similar history's making here on Artemis. This was supposed to be a fresh start for us, a different way of existing. I implore you, do not make the same mistakes as the people in power throughout history. Now I get that I must say this, but if you do, we will not bow down as the ones before us. We will make sure that Artemis has a different history for us. If the working man's blood is not enough for them to appreciate, we will not hesitate to draw the same from the ones in power. And I will not have the strength nor the willingness to stop it if things come to that. Though his words carry immense gravity and his tone unwavering, his posture and breathing feel deeply sorrowful. I understand the peril of your situation, and I will do my best to make sure it does not come to that. Thank you, sir. That is all we ask, and we will be more than happy to cooperate and assist with anything we can in the meantime. Once more, I congratulate you, and I hope that everything will fare well for us all. I appreciate the hospitality you've shown me. Please feel free to visit us, and make sure you get the same from us. With that, he gives you a warm and compassionate smile and leaves your office. The last thing you notice is how gently he closes the door on his way out. Fascinating. Moon football trespassers! Whoa! How's the weather inside my apartment? My apartment has really good climate control. A little too good. It gets dry in here a lot. That's moon football! The ASF reports multiple cases of trespassing on the outermost limits of the city. Findings indicate that trespassers are children, trying to find places to play ball where the gravitational stabilization plates are less effective. Apparently, they're trying to simulate the moon football gravity conditions in these less stabilized areas. They end up getting injured in the meantime. Nanotech data centers. City maintenance confirms that construction of the nanotech data center is proceeding at full capacity. The development appears to be on schedule with no reported logistical delays. Corporate consortium sources indicate that Earth-based stakeholders have expressed satisfaction with the pace and coordination of the project. Chose to stay calm, project strength during the inauguration. 49.5% of players chose to agree to collaborate with Alvarez for self-sustenance. Oh, so less people want independence. Interesting. That's turn 3, brother. Oh, look at my economy, it's so good. Or at least my government. My government's doing so well. I will be skipping on this once more. How are we doing? I would like to increase import-export. That is certain. AI integration, I would like to get that down all the way. And I want to get AI integration down all the way to crank up the self-sustainability, import-export, social integrity, security forces, and popularity. We'll see what the choices, have in stake. Hey boss, here's another list of projects that various factions are planning to propose to you shortly. Better to plan the budget and investments accordingly. Hydroponics and deep water cultivation, I love that. Moon Soccer League Stadium wouldn't be a bad investment. Corrective cosmetics and appearance modification clinic. We'll see. We'll see. Soil dependency. The greenhouse field's vegetation technicians report that the issue in soil import and maintenance are making it hard to establish a system where we can secure a sustainable system in the long run. This is especially the case, it seems, that the green areas are planned to be expanded in the future. Corporate Consortium chimes in and agrees with this concern. Apparently another primary issue is that we will never be able to actually produce soil, which means an indefinite dependency on Earth's export of usable, nutrient-rich soil. Soil. Yeah, let's see how it goes. Let's see how this conversation knocks out the game. Hello, everybody. It is I, the game. From Miss Alvarez, dear Mayor, it's a pleasure to meet you in person. Along with our consultants and connections in the Scientific Coalition, we formulated an extensive project pipeline to establish improved sustainability in the crucial technologies of regenerative and recyclable food and water supply. We also made significant and promising preliminary research on oxygen supply and advanced sheltering sustainability, believe that the prospect is immensely valuable. Since we are strictly kept under financial glass ceiling in our trade activities with Earth by the UEF, as we discussed in our meeting, we seek your local financial support in order to go ahead with these hopefully groundbreaking research projects. Looking forward to your kind review and support. Warmest regards. Critical mail. That's critical mail, dude. Critical mail. Hey, Sophia. Hope you're well. Just wanted to let you know that we're incredibly excited at the Science Consortium. My team is hyped with the preliminary research that we've conducted in cooperation with Miss Alvarez's team. Both the Regenerative Food Recyclable Water Project and the Oxygen Supply Advanced Shelter Project are truly remarkable. They may propel us to a whole new level in terms of sustainability. Can I invest in both? Xbox off. Zero Parades? I have, Graham. Is it out? When does that game come out? Hang on, let me look. This is the game that, what's it called? This is the game that is making to try and capitalize on the success of Disco Elysium after axing the entire team. After axing the original team that made Disco Elysium, they were like, let's do it again. We'll see how it goes. I'm kind of excited to play it just to see how fucked up it is. Let me tell you, it's probably not gonna be no esoteric ebb, I'll tell you that much. Only the demo's out. Oh. Moreover, they may completely change the level of prosperity of our citizens, create much more stable and favorable living conditions in terms of financial struggles. Apologies for the informal email, sir. I just couldn't keep our excitement contained. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope I didn't take up too much of your valuable time. Highest respect and regard, Sophia Aubrey, Lead Engineer, Artemis Science Coalition. Spoilatress. The corporate consortium reports that the imported fruit and vegetable products from Earth face a constant risk of spoilage due to transportation operations process. This risk is especially present when there are bottlenecks caused by other imported materials that require additional security checks and customs controls. This poses not just a financial issue where they already paid products arrive unusable, but also a health risk for the people who may unknowingly consume the products. Damn. Amateur moon football teams are sending letters to the City Hall complaining about the lack of financial support and sponsorships. I would like to do moon football. The problem stems from the lack of widespread recognition of sports, as well as the absence of a professional and respected organization that promotes sports. Food and drink. Worry about reoccurring delays in delivery time setbacks and the importing of substances and components that are vital to maintain food regeneration and water recycling. The report underlines that they are carrying out preliminary research preparations to the Artemis Science Coalition to find more accountable cum guzzlers. Oh, budget and planning sustainability. Hello, Ravi. Everything's going well with your new position and that you've gotten a good hang of things. Unfortunately, the reason I'm writing to you is a set of distasteful rumors that's been growing more and more frequent within certain circles regarding concealed efforts by the movement and the consortium. UEF is by no means a foreign or dictatorial antagonist to Artemis. To the contrary, we're part of the Artemis. As much as Artemis is a part of a child of Earth, and therefore we'd enjoy seeing her improve and advance to a more sustainable future. So I'm sure you'd understand certain Earth-originated fund sources and third parties that invest in Artemis have their own financial goals. Concerns regarding these extremist efforts, especially when it comes to the funds that we provide to you, the mayor-elect of Artemis, whom we support with all available resources to achieve victory. To spend the mayoral office budget towards such ends that may clog the future financial flow between Earth and Artemis is unfavorable. I implore you to be cautious on such decisions and just where they may lead your city as well as your office. We care about you deeply. We got water to spare, brother! The Recycling and Biorepurposing Facility reports an improvement in citywide water availability following the early phase activation of the new Lunar water collection purification operation. Recent adjustments have allowed for the relaxation of emergency shower allocations, with residents, especially parents, reporting improved hygiene and health conditions. The Artemis Science Coalition notes a decline in bacteria-related concerns previously linked to water scarcity. The Greenhouse Fields Management also reports that expansion planning is proceeding without immediate water-related constraints as reliance on imported earth water has been reduced. Hell yeah. Hello, Amir. What's up, man? Alright, we got two decisions to make. Dark and smoky rooms. Artemis security forces report continued growth in unauthorized gambling. The report notes that games of luck remain active in unregulated settings, increasing exposure to criminal involvement. Moreover, the city hospital continues to report elevated levels of reported depression, citizens frequently citing the absence of accessible entertainment and social venues. It's also underlined that despite identified tourism potential, Artemis currently lacks attractions capable of drawing visitors. But yeah, but I'm not going to open up a casino. There's plenty of other things to do than a fucking casino. The R&D and sustainability I want to invest in. Had enough time to think about our research proposal, hopefully decide in favor. Move forward with our planning according to your kind feedback, waiting eagerly. Corporate Consortium. Hey David, I read the request and it seems like a high-risk, high-reward kind of investment in terms of publicity. If you can improve the living conditions of Artemisians with these projects and strengthen the city in terms of sustainability, that will definitely have a huge positive effect on your public image. But you need to consider carefully because this is a budget decision that will not be taken lightly by the UEF if they ever find out. The glass ceiling imposed on Artemis trade operation is there for a reason. If this funding somehow goes public, you'll have a hot mess in your hands, and the consequences may negatively affect the UEF relations in the long term. How much do you know about Alvarez? Can you really trust her with this kind of surreptitious funding? These are the questions you should consider when deciding. Don't mean to sound bleak, but you may be handing them a leverage that they can use against you. And that's okay. Oh, cherry sandwich. This is indeed a fiscally interesting request. The overall plan looks like a viable effort to advance in terms of self-sustainability and perhaps even achieving independence down the line, which of course may have both positive and negative economic repercussions. What I can definitely say is that the glass ceiling on the trade activities of Artemis is an extremely crucial issue regardless of whether you want to achieve complete self-sustainability, have the option of becoming independent, or not. I would advise taking advantage of any and all opportunities to tip the scales in Artemis's favor. Primarily so you don't leave the fate of the city's economic growth solely in the hands of the UEF. These projects, if fruitful, can pave the way for the great economic leverage against the impositions of the UEF, and allow you to level the playground in trade relations, not to mention preparing the city for independence, if need be. Only possible downside I see is that a limited budget you have under your control may drain it rather fast. And you may find yourself with insufficient resources if and when another, perhaps better opportunity arises. Well, 1 for 1. I mean, I'm already 5 on 5 right now, so give me both, for sure. Thank you, guys. Oh. Strike preparations among dock workers. Alright, well, let's see. Out of focus. The mayor of Artemis shows a misguided hyper-focus when it comes to sustainability research and development. The sources claim that the contrast to the UEF's direct advisory, Mr. De Silva approved multiple vague projects for so-called sustainability efforts, which worries the people of Artemis regarding how their tax money is being spent. We can't help but feel the same way with our good citizens on this very concerning matter. We hope you're well. I hereby inform you that the physical labor personnel responsible for loading and unloading procedures at the commercial shipment space docks are planning a strike. He's telling me that? He's a bureaucrat, man. They got the damn union bureaucrats out here fucking, wow. The Lunar door. What's my favorite food, Amir? Mediterranean. I love pastas, I love, I love the more, I love anything to do with chickpeas. I love the olive oils. I love it all. Love the gyros and the pastas and etc, etc, etc. Clarify that I will not try. I don't know if that counts as a favorite food though. Gunardor feels like a Fakeamon name. Clarify that I will not try to stop them, and furthermore, I will do my best to help them in their righteous endeavor. They've been working overtime for the last year without due payment, and the corporate consortium authorities have not been responding to our inquiries on lowering the daily volume of imports. Could we take my reaching out to you as a signal on attending the matter, as a strike is not easy to reverse once started. Much like the avalanches, there is unstoppable strength in the unity of workers. Hope you find a way to stop this crisis before it begins. Disequilibrium in supply and demand. I know. My import-export is not. I gotta boost it up. As long as AI integration gets cantankered, I'll do anything. Disequilibrium in supply and demand. Import and export branch corporate consortium. Mr. Mayor, it is our observation that there is a stagnation in import-based supply capacity. Certain perishable goods, such as imported poultry and groceries, which require frequent shipments to keep fresh stock, are decreasing in supply while the demand is stable. Hereby report is to officially inform you that the problem is not caused by our operations department, and we are not keeping any stock from the chain of supply for our own benefit. Therefore, we would like to disclaim any negative responsibilities that may originate from the supply chain failure, especially in the case that it starts causing problems among the public due to shortages. For kind acknowledgement, best regards. We haven't had a chance to officially meet. I'm the assistant manager on matters regarding Artemis, and I report directly to Mr. Singh on all matters. Required information that there's a problem regarding the perishable goods and their import into Artemis in a timely manner to ensure that the supply meets the existing demand. Not gold. We've taken it upon ourselves to go on an internal investigation to see if this problem could stem from our side because we care deeply for the people of Artemis, their health and their well-being. I'd like to inform you that as a result of our investigation, we've received conclusive quantitative data that the problem is not caused by our export procedures or potential. In fact, we have a much higher export potential for perishable items in question. If you could find the cause of the stagnancy, we would be more than happy to increase our volume of export to make sure the people of Artemis have an abundant source of healthy nutrition. Please don't hesitate to reach out. If there's anything else we can do to help, we'll be happy to assist. Poo-poo is outside. Oh, the popo. It is poo-poo. There are poo-poo outside. Overtime. The workers at the docks submit anonymous complaint letters to the mayor's office regarding the overtime work they are being put through without any additional pay. It seems that the corporate consortium has been non-respondent in their attempts to negotiate the arrangement. This one's about the multiple leads on lunar shuttle attacks. This one's about the commercial shipment docks. Current trade problem. Mr. Mayor, hope everything's in order, sir. We found and followed up on multiple leads in our investigation regarding the lunar shuttle attack you were involved in. At this stage, we'd like your support in the operational execution on 2 of the high-priority leads. First is an intel leak within the Syndicate, a crime organization led by a figure called the Void that operates contraband, smuggling, and other illegal activities throughout Artemis. We have a potential confidential informant that we would like to recruit, and through him, we aim to learn if anyone within the Syndicate was aware, perhaps a part of the attack. The potential CI is a minor and member of the LWU, and we will need to pull some strings within the Union in order to convince him. Second lead is the interrogation detail and transcripts of injured terrorists before he was eventually deceased. The documents have been confiscated and classified by the UEF officials. We suspect that the terrorist may have revealed information that could prove vital information regarding possible future attacks. There are means of acquiring the information through negotiation, but it doesn't come cheap. Provide support for both leads. Sure. Oh? Okay, so things are starting to shake up, as they do. I mean, when you're playing Swordland in Suzerain, your country's already in the shithole, you know? So you just have to work from there. In this game... Ugh. Awful. Artemis Science Coalition carried out a metadata analysis in cooperation with Artemis City Hospital's Department of Psychology, and the report shows that many people who are afflicted with depression also expressed unhappiness with their looks and appearances. The corporate consortium adds to the report and points out that there may be a correlation with this situation and the increase they've observed in the number of Artemisians traveling to Earth to get medical procedures done. The sky opens. Reports the application of the new protective coating has begun across the city's dome structures. Maintenance requirements have decreased significantly, and reliance on Earth supply material has been reduced as locally sourced components are prioritized. Early inspections confirm improved resistance against cosmic radiation and particulate erosion. However, the city's hospital and social services report an increase in anxiety, derealization symptoms among residents following the return of a fully transparent dome. Citizens report heightened awareness of open space and prolonged visual exposure to Earth and deep space. The report concludes that structural sustainability has improved while psychological strain has begun to resurface and increase. Have a chat with Sam, the girl from the shuttle attack. The water runs clean. The Artemis City Hospital reports that no new poisoning cases linked to drinking water contamination have been recorded since recent upgrades to the city's sanitation systems. Follow-up inspections indicate that sewage line stability has improved, preventing further leakage into water supplies in affected residential zones. The Lunar Workers Union also notes that routine maintenance within the sewage network is now conducted with reduced direct human exposure. The report states that these developments have positively affected both public health conditions and worker safety within sanitation operations. What if there's an equivalent to the Twin Towers? They're gonna knock out the big penis building in the middle, not the luminary. They're gonna crush the luminary. Alright. Let's find out what all the hubbub is. Home like you've been making YouTube videos? What a great question. Maybe like a year now? Not very long. I haven't made a YouTube video in a while, though. I'd like to make one, but I have so much on my plate right now. You arrive at the docks at night. The interior of the palace consists of cold, naked concrete. Concrete? Whoa. Concrete? No. Floors are littered with cheap provision wraps, perhaps handed to the workers to eat fast and tossed away to get back to work pronto. The workers in question are there, burning the midnight oil. When you approach through, almost all of them have burly physical features. You recognize one of them tower among the others. Yet the difference is only the appearance, as Mr. Petrov is working just as hard as the others on unloading the containers. Mr. Mayor? He dusts himself off the best he can as he walks over with a humble smile. Nice of you to visit the workers here instead of making decisions about them in some ivory tower in the distance. Workers are the backbone of any society, and more so in the developing of one like ours. He smiles, slowly leaves his place to a grave expression. Well, then I hate to be the one to tell you that the backbone of the society is bruised and broken, still straight and standing, but beaten and in pain. Mr. Mayor, Anatoly. You turn around and see two figures approaching. Samed Ralphie, the manager of Import-Export from Corporate Consortium, and a woman you don't know, though her face seems familiar. She has long black hair, dark green eyes, and olive skin. The prominent bridge on her nose gives her an authoritative, resilient look, but then she talks. The tone is completely to the contrary, soft and compassionate. Mr. Mayor, it's lovely to finally meet you in person. Sir, I'm Katya Gorchev, Assistant Manager of Artemis Department UEF. You and Petrov shake their hands. I think we're all here? Yes, we can begin if you'd like, Mr. Mayor. Would you like to tell us your main focus and priority when it comes to how we should tackle this problem? Workers are treated fairly for the work they put in. I believe our priority should be to fix the scales on import-export imbalance so that the economy doesn't stagger. How's your job? So let's hear it. Main concern is to ensure that workers are treated fairly for the work they put in. We all feel the same way, sir. Do we? Then why hasn't the corporate consortium been paying the due overtime salaries for the last year, and why don't you respond to the union's inquiries on the subject? Great to hear that. Then why have you been ignoring our inquiries about the due overtime payment that the workers should be receiving for the extra time they put in, Mr. Ralphie? Samid's composure keeps intact, and with a formal smile, he explains. That was completely unintentional to our end. Some things just slip through the cracks in our bureaucracy, even with all the technology we have. Yes, I know these cracks very well, brother. Somehow, it's always the earnings of the working people that slip through the cracks, but never the profits of the corporate. As if cracks have a taste for sweat and blood, to be honest. Of the honest. Regardless, this is good. Then we can discuss paying what they are due from now on, as well as the total sum of unpaid overtime hours throughout the last year. Samed seems distressed. I mean, we can discuss that as well, of course we can. But we already have a little meeting with Miss Katya. We'd love to go over some of the ways we can fix the situation and minimize further negative impact on the economy. Petrov takes a deep breath and turns his gaze away as if letting Samed go on with whatever he has to say. The first and most immediate solution that would be increased prices via higher added taxes on the imported products in question. That would decrease the demand to a desired degree to match the supply capacity in hand, while allowing you to still sell all the imported products in flux. Basically, you'd be course-correcting the market. And make the poor even poorer, so that only the people who have higher income can afford fresh poultry and groceries. Of course, this would only be temporary. We wouldn't want the people of Artemis to be deprived of proper nutrition, but to keep the economy from failing and perhaps even raising more budget through the increased taxes, this could be a very viable move. I can't sanction something that will make regular people struggle to access proper nutrition. I understand, sir. We do have another possible solution. As UEF, we can provide you with the manpower required to proceed with high volumes of import. We always have extra personnel in our docks on Earth in case there's need. We could pay them extra to temporarily deploy to Artemis. How would such an arrangement proceed? You can consider it as a show of solidarity, sir. A helping hand to an ally in need, and when we need something in the future, you can help us. A vague debt is worse than a great debt. You have our respect if that's what you feel, Mr. Mayor. It's just an offer in good faith, and we wouldn't take offense if you don't see it as suitable. Cracks. I will speak briefly. The right thing to do is to pay these men what they are due. Petrov points at the men working hard at the dock, and then he shouts a name. Burroughs, how long have you been working the docks? 9 years next month. A man shouts back, carrying a heavy package. How many kids do you and Sue have? 4. 3 girls and a boy. The man shouts with a smile. How about you, Patty? 7 years and counting, sugar. We got 3 kids and 1 in the oven. Gross. A woman shouts back as she works the mini crane. Gross. Burroughs and Patty are just 2 examples out of the many, Mr. Mayor. I can assure you all of them have been working here long and hard, supporting their families with honest work day in and day out. You can't build a strong economy on the crushing backs of honest men and women. Pay these people what they are owed, increase their salaries to cover the overtime, and they will work to excel your economy and increase your import volume. You have my word on that. I see your point, Mr. Petrov. With a warm smile, Petrov reaches out to shake your hand and then goes back to work with the rest of the dock workers. You shake hands with Katya and Samed and leave the docks and head back to your office. So there are 3 options I can take. I don't want to import more workers. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be bad, but... have a chat with Sam. Alright, we got 3 choices to make. I mean, I'm obviously going to order the corporate consortium to pay him back. Greetings, Mr. Mayor. Hope you've had enough time to think about how you'd like to proceed with the issue regarding poultry and grocery import volume. Be happy to convey the information and make sure that the necessary steps are taken in accordance with your decision as soon as I hear back from you, sir. Is this better or worse than reading a book on stream? Good question. I don't really know. Reading a book is more focused, I guess. This one makes me make a decision. You ever flake Cookie One Kingdom? I've never played Cookie Run Kingdom. Be happy to convey the information and make sure that necessary steps are taken in accordance with your decision as soon as I hear back from you, sir. Looking forward to the valuable insight and directives. Best regards. This is one of those many critical decisions you'll be facing where public opinion and economic prosperity is on the opposite side of the same scale. From a purely PR viewpoint, I definitely advise against increasing the taxes, just to forcefully decrease the demand. I understand the financial cop-out, yet this path is liable to have extremely adverse effects if the word gets out. You risk being accused of favoring the rich, which can easily become a kill switch of your mayorship. As the majority of Artemis also don't take kindly to the idea of asking the assistance of UEF, especially when it comes to manpower, which is the one thing we pride ourselves in compared to all the automated ways of Earth. I think the path can backfire as well. While I understand the financially cumbersome implications of asking the CC to cover the cost of extra work as part of it, will probably be coming from funds that could have been directed to your administration instead, I don't think that there's a better overall way in terms of public image. Sorry, I can't provide much else. This is indeed a conundrum. You need to tread very lightly, as such decisions can have a long-lasting effect on your relationships with both the local people and interplanetary allies. Sadly, the least ideal thing to do is to push the corporate consortium to cover the cost. This will most definitely have a negative impact on your funding, hence the potential good you can do for the city with said extra funds. The other paths are more viable from a financial standpoint, though they both come from their own unique downsides. If you increase taxes and manage to look the other way when facing public backlash, you can expect a rather quick turnaround and a profitable short-term investment. In that case, you can use the excess funds you receive from this application, perhaps make further investments to mend the public morale and your image, but it is a gamble. Cookie Run Kingdom also has a lot of NSW, despite being about gingerbread man people. Oh, NSFW? That's very funny. They want to they want to have sex with the cookies, man. If you go ahead asking the assistance from the UEF, there will probably be less backlash, but you'll reap the fruits in the long run. Import and export capacity will improve over time, but you won't have the financial means to recover the public morale and your image. I think both the latter options present certain financial benefits. It all boils down to whether you want to try your hand at making short-term or long-term gains to recuperate from the negative side effects. I'm going to order the corporate consortium to pay the debts of the overtime work of the dock workers and increase their salary to cover future overtime workloads. Yes, import-export up. Very good. Corporate consortium did not like that. Well, a potentially vicious cycle. The mayor just ordered the corporate consortium to increase the salary of the dock workers and pay them a large sum of funds for the overtime work they had done so far. This does seem like a reasonable and conscientious action, but we shouldn't forget that we're living in extreme circumstances, and such circumstances require extreme measures. The reasons behind corporate consortium's inability to make payments in due time stems not from the selfish and greedy reasons, but from the fact that we are all trying to make ends meet for a better Artemis in the future. Perhaps dock workers could have shared their responsibility and braced for the temporary pay cut with more grace, selflessness, and strength that we are sure they had. Unfortunately, it was proven otherwise. On a related note, we believe that it is a slippery slope to cave in against selfish demands that are accompanied by threats of strikes and revolt, and that Mr. Mayor should tread more carefully in the future. Well, that's chill. The Union stands with De Silva. We extend our sincere thanks and endless gratitude to the respectable Mayor of Artemis for listening to our needs and siding with us against tyrannical corporate greed. It is brave man's strength to stand tall against the ones who have control over so many things, and we are beyond happy to see that Mayor De Silva has what it takes to put his foot down and say a firm no to injustice, however dire the consequences may be. Get off, Solaris. Alright. Have a chat with Sam, the girl from the shuttle attack. Alright, now we're getting to the personal. As the day nears its end and you prepare to leave your office and head home, you decide to go through the list just left on your desk, and the names and contacts of the people who reached out to you through official channels. It's filled with mails and calls, some cordially congratulating you, some wishing you a successful mayoral run, most of them slipping the issues facing their district or business into their well wishes. Just when you're about to leave it to another day, one that perhaps will never come, a name catches your eye: Sam Gilmore. Could it be, you think, and check her message. Jess Scribble reads, "Saw you on TV, wanted to congratulate you personally." A phone number's written beside it. Hello? Sam? Yep, who's this? It's David from the Lunar Shuttle. Lore is optional. Request. Got an achievement. It's David from the Lunar Shuttle. Oh, hi, David from the Lunar Shuttle. Nice way to introduce yourself. I was convinced that you weren't going to call, and to be honest, I was kind of relieved. Maybe I shouldn't have bothered you? Oh, no. It's just that in hindsight, I did feel a little embarrassed giving my number to that officer for you, you know, considering what we were in the middle of and all, but anyway, how's it going? You must be pretty busy. It's pretty exhausting, really, but I'm managing. I can only imagine the sheer stress of being considered the firm mayorship would have been overwhelming enough to paralyze me, let alone actually taking office in such short time. I mean, do you even know how things work? There's no real way that things work because there was no mayor before, so I'm setting the rules. No idea. Let my inner compass take the wheel most of the time, hopefully try to do the right thing. Things are not working out at the moment, system's broken, everyone's out for their own interest. I think I'm here to put an end to that. I'm setting the rules. Well, I've been watching you, and I know it must be hard, but I gotta say, you don't look bad at all, and since you decided to call me, if you ever want to clear your head, or, you know, just step out to your busy office and have some normal time, I'd be okay with that. You asking me out on a date? I guess we can say that. Better yet, let's just say I'm doing my civil duty as an upstanding citizen and helping our mayor have some chill time in order to refresh. How about next Wednesday? I know a nice place we can hang out, small cafe that you'd feel comfortable in. I'm guessing you'd want the least possible attention being the superstar that you are. Who, me? I love the attention. You hear her giggling at your words. Alright then, Mr. Mayor. I'll let you get back to your work. The city's not going to save itself. Take care. And David, thanks for calling. I'm happy that you did. Don't mention it. Bye for now. With that, you're ready to call it a day. It feels good to end things on a high note and a sweet chat. You didn't realize you needed that. To your surprise, you're looking forward to seeing her again, but the ride home is lonely and you still find yourself hesitant on rolling open your window. The end of the day, what are you talking about? Two things just popped up. How raw would you rate yourself? That's gross. What a question. Oh, no one can... Oh, right. Hey, VC God, what's up? Artemisians face a lawsuit. The UEF officially informs the mayor's office on a series of legal actions that will be taken against the Artemisians for copyright infringement. Apparently, the Artemisians have been hacking into the Earth's livestream services to view the sports events that are taking place on Earth. The corporate consortium's input on the report is that the corporations can take legal action against the people who illegally stream Earth's TV shows and sports events, so there isn't much Artemisians can do, and certain citizens will probably be arrested by the UEF. Meet the head of the Artemis Science Coalition, Izumi. Silent agreement on overtime. The Lunar Workers Union and corporate consortium have reached an agreement regarding the overtime work conducted for the nanotech data center construction. Despite their long-standing disagreements on labor and compensation matters, both parties appear to have aligned on this issue. Under the agreed terms, no additional compensation beyond the existing framework will be issued for the extended hours spent on the project. The matter is considered settled for the time being. Make a decision, plant hydroponics and deep water cultivation facility. Ooh, finally a helium task. The project aims to develop a feasible action plan to harvest water from the deep craters on the moon and proceed with the execution of a sustainable extraction and purification process. Of course. Invest me. Invest me, doctor. Invest me. Oh. Oh my god, more shit popped up. Yes, the Moon Football League Stadium. I'd love to build that, honestly. Illegal operations. There's a continuing increase in the reported case of illegal and botched surgeries performed by unlicensed doctors. The surgeries are mostly performed in the back alleys of rooms of the lower living quarters, and the majority of the cases include cosmetic and reconstructive surgery. Seasonal complaints. Artemisian citizens are complaining about the travel tickets to the Earth, especially during the Earth's major league sports session. The ticket prices are suspected to be deliberately increased by Earth to take advantage of the extreme demand that the Artemisians show in Earth sports leagues. How long I plan to stream? Another hour. I would like to take a break, though. I gotta get more water. I'm using a smaller cup today. Artemisian security forces report multiple operations in illicit alcohol and tobacco distribution channels. Enhanced inspections and penalties have reduced circulation of unverifiable products, with several shipments halted before entering the city. Vendors report reduced access to illegal stock. The report indicates a net impact on the black distribution network. Meeting the head of... Let's make a decision on the footballs. Oh my god, it costs 4 currency? I can't do it. New opportunities to Artemisian's local business. Oh, I want to, though. I have to... when you press 1, you have to make a decision on. Oh, that sucks. I would love to have invested in it. Shall we? Misses the mark. I know, I know. Recently declined project of the Moon Football League Stadium could have made it an unprecedented opportunity to create an incredible network of income streams for the city. I know! Sponsorships for teams, merchandise each year, seasonal sports tourism from Earth, pay-per-view streaming on games and more, all gone. Could have been an absolutely brilliant venture, and the mayor should definitely think twice, perhaps take a timeout the next time he decides to take on such matters. I fucking know, dude. Contraband products confiscated. Products were stashed under vegetable and poultry products, which may have been contaminated in the process, and most probably will be need to be destroyed. I can't invest in this one either! Dude! I know, I wanted to invest in both. No shot I have 9 currency. Fucking god. Victims of conservatism, the underdogs. Multiple sources confirm that Mayor of Artemis has declined the project of opening up a cosmetics and appearance modification clinic. Very unfortunate to hear, especially for the less genetically fortunate people of Artemis. Especially considering that perhaps they are very well aware how easy the Earth citizens have it. Cosmetic applications are covered by the universal private insurance of the UEF, and every person in the society gets to modify their appearance to match just the way they feel. Until their looks reflect the way they feel inside at a particular time of their life, they can go under as many procedures as they wish. That is individualism, and that is respecting everyone's right to choose their appearance according to how they feel inside. Perhaps the mayor has a thing or two to learn from that. Fuck. Winter clothing in demand. Extreme demand of wool-based winter clothes in Artemis. The situation creates an imbalance in the prices and causes both the local manufacturers and Earth exporters to apply higher prices, potentially abusing the demand. Exploration. The Moon's social media platforms are viewed as the informative but boring accordance to the citizens. The Artemisians' user trends show that people are searching for entertainment and fun content that they can explore and enjoy. I know, man. I know. It was early in the morning, if you can call this morning, you think. As you look through the large windows of your office, the mornings on Artemis are artificial, specifically in terms of the 24-hour system that they crudely incorporated into our brand new lunar life. At least, we, as one would expect from our species, decided to forcefully use our own Earth time system instead of adopting the Moon's natural cycle, you think to yourself. A lunar day actually consists of 29.5 Earth days, which makes for a 2 Earth week-long daytime, followed by an equal amount of night, but the sky is dark no matter if it's daytime or nighttime, because the atmosphere is so thin that it virtually doesn't exist. You do realize that there is no reasonable way for the people to adapt to that, mainly due to biological reasons and the circadian rhythm, but keeping the 24-hour system and calling certain made-up portions of darkness day and other parts night still feels very self-important, almost to the point of neurotic denial. You remember reading somewhere that in the first years of lunar colonization, they placed artificial lights all around the city to make it seem like it's daytime during certain hours, but that just made everyone feel more out of place. Out of place. That's ironic, you can't help but think. Before you can follow that string of thought to unravel certain doubts, perhaps about yourself, 2 knocks come from the door. Jess pokes her head in. Hey boss, a Dr. Izumi Saito is here to see you. She's apparently the head of the Lunar Science Coalition. She can come in. She takes a step to the side while Dr. Saito inside and leaves the room. Dr. Saito is not quite like anyone you've seen before. She doesn't seem to take any interest in her surroundings. She doesn't even take a glance around the room. Walks over to you in a straight line and with a calm and almost robotic demeanor starts speaking. You're pleased to meet me, and I'm pleased to meet you. Congratulations on the position, etc., etc. Sufficient, I would think so. Let's get to the point. As long as you don't lecture me about independence, that is. I have no interest in politics or the short-term consequences of your actions on the people of Artemis or Earth. I'm here to talk about the empirical, tangible possibilities that will most likely come to happen and will affect the mid to long-term advancement of humankind. If you'd like to talk about politics in any aspect, I'm not the person for that. I plan on providing you with the information that I think you will need in order to make informed decisions regarding how you approach the critical and scientific matters of Artemis. Bye, Amir. I'm not going to chit-chat. I don't have ulterior motives. I don't imply or insinuate. You can take my words as you would take an academic paper, properly cited and peer-reviewed to perfection. Purely pragmatic and result-oriented. Keep listening. Now, I will talk first, mainly so if you have any questions, you can revise them internally and ask them to be to an informed state after I'm finished. This will prevent thought and discussion loops. Would that be okay? Yes. First of all, I am not here to thank you for funding the sustainability research through Ms. Alvarez and the Science Coalition. You did that for your own agenda, and if you did it for the good of the people, that's still your agenda, and if you did it only for the sake of doing good, you did it for your own ego and aligning your actions with your self-image. Intentions do not change the causality pattern of our actions. I care only about 3 things: human advancement, technological advancement, and to make sure that these two are as least likely as possible to become mutually exclusive, because that would bring the end of all things conscious. You see, the technology cannot advance without humankind factoring in, at least not yet, and humankind is destined to perish. Maybe decades from now, or maybe millions of years later, but it is inevitable because we are organic, and that is how the organism's life cycle works. That creates a temporary state of mutually assured destruction between the human and the machine. Regardless of whether the fanatics of either side would like to believe it or not, idealism has no place in science. An anomaly or not, human consciousness, specifically our state of self-consciousness, is a unique phenomenon. We need to preserve it, and make it as permanent against the hostile conditions as the universe as possible. That is bigger than us. This is about the universe finding a tear in the fabric of itself to poke its head through and observe itself. We may not understand the why of it right now, but we must recognize its importance regardless. And for that, we need the machine. Keep listening. We need to make sure that we are in control of AI at all times and stages. You need to make sure that you don't wash your hands off of it, because that will render you oblivious to the most recent developments. On the contrary, you need to be involved, influential even, so that you can be informed about what they plan and change the plan's course of action if need be. Who do you mean? Who's they? Who controls the whole AI research anyway? This is not a unilaterally operated sequence of events, these are multiple factors. What I'm saying is that you should remain as one of them. I see what you mean. You don't, but you will. I will not overload your process of conception on the subject with seemingly speculative probability forecast, even if it's highly accurate. You may ask me any questions you have, and I will answer to the best of my capabilities. What do you know about Pen? It's a brilliant core idea, kept to its basic value proposition and primary function. It would work wonders for the exponential advancement of humankind, mainly through minimizing loss of information during transfer of knowledge through verbal and written communication. A brain chip. My brain chip. Would I install a brain chip? Maybe. I think it would be funny. I don't think it would be useful at all, and it'd probably be used to like explode my brain from like a corporation, you know. But I think it'd be funny. I see. What can you about mind-reaping activities? To think that anyone would have the audacity of performing such intricate procedures without proper equipment and facilities. The whole thing is a complete abomination, to say the least. You think it's ethical to use human mind for training the AI systems? Ethics are a construct that has no place in scientific decisions. They are context-dependent and fickle. All in all, legal and illegal is what separates the limits of scientific research, and that is purely for the sake of pragmatic aspects. A research cannot be completed and therefore cannot contribute to the scientific data progression if it is deemed illegal and prematurely shut down by the governing legislative body, so it's best practice not to perform such vain efforts and instead limit yourself to what's considered legal. How dire is the need for our R&D regarding sustainability? Very much dire. When you roam the glass streets of Artemis, you see a smoothly running machine, right? A functioning mechanism. But when you crack it open and take a look inside of its city, it's a constant battle to keep it running. Do you know that the heat fluctuations of the moon's surface goes from a boiling 127 to a freezing negative 173? Due to this, the protective glass that runs throughout the city is continuously eroding, which requires additional coating material to be applied every other week. Does that sound manageable in the long run? Or, did you know the cost of ice extraction activities in the South Pole, which we use for fuel, oxygen, and drinking water, is hindered, and we are suddenly forced into purchasing our water from Earth or trade helium-3 for it instead? I see what you mean. That's all I wanted to ask. Good. This has been a productive conversation. You're equipped with the necessary preliminary information to guide you toward the correct direction, if you choose to do so. Why not give it to me straight? Yes, thank you. You don't need to thank me. None of this was specifically for you. I will leave you to your work now, until we meet again. With that, she turns around and leaves the room. Critical mail from Anonymous. Invitation to mindlessness. Mindfulness. Greetings! If you truly wish to understand what is being done in the name of progress, there is something waiting for you. Visit the place once suggested to you as a source of helping you understand the forsaken minds of this city and retrieve the package. Once you have it, let us meet at the darkest corner of the lower living quarters during the next eclipse. HJ. Oh. An offer you hate to miss. The first mayor of Artemis ever. We thought you'd perhaps be interested in knowing that there will be another terrorist attack soon. We know the location, we know the time, we know how and why of these attacks. Would you be interested in knowing as well? We can help you with more than just these attacks, like gaining absolute power over every single faction in Artemis. Sound exciting? Here's a free sample. You may want to check the doors to see who enters your domain and who exits. Subscribe to our newsletter for more. Send the letter to Colonel Solomon. I'm gonna end my turn, and then I'm gonna go take a break. Oh, Pac-Man, waka waka. Can install a whole folder of shit posts in your brain. I hadn't even considered it. Export issues in heating fuel. Delay the export of heating fuels once more, which impairs the heating capacity of the city. The heating service in the certain sections of Artemis will gradually be decreased to make use of the heating fuel material we have in hand. Lower living quarters and docks will be the first to be affected due to their size and correlating number of residents. Damn. My popularity, no! Lim Lear wants to speak with me. The time slips by as you bury yourself in the review and assessment of reports, strategy drafts, and action plans regarding the city. Before you know it, it's almost nighttime and you'd stay unknowing, if not for your office phone. A sudden ring snaps you out of your weary focus and urges you to check the time. It's 9 o'clock in the evening and you wonder why Jess didn't say anything before she left. You wonder who to call the office at this hour. You also wonder why you're still here. Just as you're about to move on to wondering just why you're there in the first place. You pick up the phone, slowly regaining the ability to receive the signals your body's been sending with no reply. Numb hands, ringing ears, burning eyes. Hey, boss. Jess, where are you? Right outside, boss. At my desk? I'd never leave while you're here. Anyways, you got a call. Weird that it's at this hour, though. It's Mira Chen. Putting her through. With that, the phone clicks and you're left with a momentary finite silence. Why would she call at such an odd time? But before you find a potential reason that makes sense, there's another click. Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Miss Chen. Apologies for disturbing you. I thought I'd just try my chance when I heard the news. Didn't want to wait until morning and risk being too late. News? It's the UEF. We just received confirmation that they are planning to have a symposium this week here in Artemis. Have you heard of something called PEN? I'm aware of the symposium. I know a little about it. Oh, and what are your thoughts about it? I'm against the concept. That's a relief. Look, you can't allow this to happen. You don't want to. Trust me. Tell me what the big problem is. This is the first step of spreading the idea that AI will be the rescue we've been waiting for as a species. They've already started campaigning for it on Earth and even applying it in undisclosed areas as a pilot project. I never thought they'd have the audacity to bring the introduction and campaigning of it to Artemis this soon. This must mean they'll try and apply it to people here much faster than we anticipated. The whole plan is a wolf in sheep's clothing, sir. The pen is claimed to be a precaution against the loss of the cultivated cumulative professional human experience, a way to secure the information we gather as individuals, and a safer, more optimized way of transferring knowledge without any overlooked information leakage. That's how they sell it, right? You must have seen the pamphlet. But it was the potential of so much more, and not necessarily in a good way. To render the human interaction and connection obsolete, and along with it, everything that bursts through such interactions. I can understand. Yeah, I agree. Can you? Can you see the threat of losing the one thing that nobody can take away from us? The autonomy of personal experience? Oh, I thought it meant the social connection between humans. That's not nearly as cringe. I mean, that one's way more cringe. They can purchase, steal, or even forcibly extract any idea that a person comes up with, as long as he already turned into a tangible output. But the experience of your own choices and actions would still stay within your mind. They can pry information out of us all they want, but the essence of the experience stays with us, and a piece of information as an end result is far less important than the experience it took to get that information. Einstein was not a genius because of the theory of relativity. He was a genius because he had the notion to take the mental steps towards that theory. And yes, he did share with us the theory, but how he got to coming up with it, even though we have his pathway of formulations, can never be truly transferred. That was his autonomous human experience. A seasoned carpenter could teach you how to make a signature chair in 3 weeks, or write a step-by-step manual of 50 pages with all the finest details of the process, but he can't teach you how he learned not to cut the back of his hand after cutting it 3 times on the same exact inverted curve while making the first 3 legs, and just figured out how to avoid the injury on the 4th leg by tweaking his posture and shifting his weight slightly to his left leg. That is his autonomous experience. To pry that process out of our minds in real time, day in and day out, every second of every minute, that is rape, sir. And that is rape, good sir. And it will pave the path for a twisted organic synthetic singularity that will abolish everything we consider human. I understand what you mean. Do you? I hope so, because what I believe is that this is a lethal threat for society as we know it. A cancer. And it will spread fast just like the other deadly disease. Even if they convince a few people with these symposiums, it would be more than enough. They will become addicted to the leisure and the pleasure of it before they realize. Can you imagine how expendable we will all become before them? Become before them. Handing over real-time information, the only thing that constitutes any value to the continuation of our individual existence. Because make no mistake, sir, that's the only thing that deems us valuable. Information and function. You are the last line of defense against this cancer. It's already spreading on Earth, and it will not stop. The AI will keep on consuming information, and with Penn, it will start consuming us. You have to realize the potentially devastating consequences of this threat. Why would they want to doom humankind to obsolete, redundant creaturism? You know the saying, sir? The road to hell is paved with good intentions? Keep listening. You need to stop the symposium, Mr. Mayor. You need to ban all Penn promotional activities from Artemis, even if it costs you your office. Oh, I cannot stop a symposium that was arranged before my term, as besides, it's a pretty tall order for someone who has nothing on the line. I sympathize with your stance, but the symposium was arranged long before I took office. I cannot just go around breaking deals retrospectively. Hate to say this, but that means you unfortunately don't see the severity of the situation. Let me at least show you the courtesy of warning you for the inevitable, Mr. Mayor. If you allow the symposium as planned, I will not have the power, nor the heart, to stop the lunar independence movement from taking all necessary actions to stop this event from happening. That's most unfortunate to hear indeed, Miss Chen. Likewise, Mr. Mayor, I say this with a heavy heart and with not much in my power. While I am the appointed leader of the movement, I am in no position to dictate what the majority of the movement will decide to do. For what may come, I am truly sorry, but I will stand with my movement, and for that I will never apologize. We all do what we must, and so will you. I hope you find it in your heart to do the right thing. If you're not able to stop the symposium from happening, my advice to you would be to remove all security from the premises, and we will make sure their invasive ideas reach as little people as possible. We can sense that she means every word. The sorrow in her tone is as tangible as the fierce rebellion in her determined breathing. With that, you hear a final click, and she's gone. You hang up the phone and take a deep breath. You feel a silent storm slowly approaching your way from the dark vacuums of space. You have no chance but to go home and rest as best you can. Something tells me that you'll need it. Lost in thought, you snap back into the moment when Jess knocks twice on the door and pokes her head in. Ready to go, boss? Yeah. With that, you call it a day and leave the office to get some rest. Fuck me, dude. Made a positive impression with the lunar independence movement. I wish I could see how I'm doing as far as the movements are. How much the movements like me and stuff. You and 65.9% of players chose to investigate both factions. You and 89.1% of players chose to investigate the anonymous letter. Well, yeah, you gotta know, man. Break time, break time. Turn 4, on the moon. Okay, we can buy helium. I would can I sell helium? They won't let me sell helium. Very annoying. We have plenty of helium, though. We need to start investing in capital. Alright. Give me just a second. I will be right back. I'm going to hit the bathroom and get a refill. BRB. Okay, gamers. Back again. Let's see. Alright, the symposium's about to be fucking terrorist attacked. Overvalued commercial items. Citizens of Artemis are submitting official complaints regarding the issues caused by the lack of commercial competition authority. Apparently, the local manufacturers of textile and houseware products are asking for extremely high prices, claiming that the products are handmade and therefore valuable. People of Artemis have a hard time accessing affordable everyday goods. Generation H tendencies. That Gen H Artemisians are much more open to socializing with Earth citizens, and they don't view themselves as a separate community when it comes to their social lives. The Gen H shows curiosity towards Earth society and yearn to socialize with other different people. The draft agreement on Earth social media platforms. We at UEF Social Initiatives have come up with a draft on how to integrate the people of Artemis into the vast and digitally enhanced realm of Earth's social media. We believe that social media interactions are the most candid way of self-expression and the very essence of what brings us together as human beings. We would hate for the people of Artemis to miss out on all the fun. They should get to participate in the newest trends, the most viral lip dubs, goofiest dances, wackiest filters, craziest challenges, and so much more. Can't wait to hear from you. Penny Hempson, they, them, Executive Assistant Department. Yeah, I'm chill with that. Hey boss, here's yet another list of projects that various factions are planning to propose. Helium-3 lunar heating systems. I like that one. We have plenty of helium. Pet animal import and adoption center. Gravitational adjustment infrastructure renovation. Earth goods shopping center. I would like an Earth goods shopping center. Earth social media platform. That's something I can hammer out right now. I will definitely approve that. Sustainable medicine and supplements. Several new steps in achieving a more sustainable supply and production chain when it comes to medication. The only underlying downside is the development of certain moon-based medication and supplements with more sensitive ingredients move forward at an extremely slow pace, primarily due to the fact that they have no animal testing available. Ugh. Step on a pebble and fall. Ouch! Report explores a correlation that's been detected between the spikes of depression and the periods have been when the heating systems of Artemis suffered from maintenance and material shortages. After these periods of time, people are thought to be staying at home and not going out much. Since housing units are considerably warmer compared to the streets in the long run, the experts warn that this may cause a rising trend of alienation, antisocial behavior, and other problems. Oh, here we go, social media. You step into the meeting room with your office and find that Sophia and Simone is already in the holovision waiting for me. Hello, Mr. Mayor. Hi. Ladies, what do you have for me? Thank you for taking the time to meet me. I assume you read the social media request from the UEF. Yes, sir. Listening. My professional opinion as a sociologist and a clinical psychiatrist based on the history of social media use and its effects on Earth's sociocultural texture is that we've been very fortunate so far in not getting involved with it at all, sir. It's a slippery slope with negative effects on children's development, personal productivity, ethical values, incidents and accidents resulting in injury and death, and an overall gateway to cultural degeneration. But who are you with? Social sciences and sir. May I interrupt? Go ahead. You're an equal party in this discussion. You need to be more assertive. We talked about this. Turns a light shade of red in Simone's unintentional expose. I mean, social media also helps people express themselves, especially people who are shy or, introverted when in actual social situations. There are a lot of helpful communities where people can share their hobbies and work to get constructive criticism, or learn such stuff from people who already achieved a certain degree of mastery. AI helps when it comes to personalized data and making people feel familiar and comfortable in the digital world, and of course it works both ways, and the data collection is made extremely easy and sophisticated with social media. It's not all bad, is what I'm saying. Fair enough, Sophia. Well said. Can we use it to our advantage? Yes, actually. We're very much capable of collecting what we call big data from people's tendencies from their social media usage. Absolutely amazing source of data collection and processing. We can know everything about everyone. I mean, for their own sake, and within moral boundaries, of course, like crime prevention, finding people who need help with depression, and things of that nature. Even our advantage is in for the people's benefit. Of course. How come people didn't ask for access to social media until now? They didn't exactly know we had the technological means to do it, which is a huge controversy on UEF's side, to be honest. A courtesy. Yes, they could have just gone ahead and announced the availability of social media for the people of Artemis to gain popularity, but they decided to leave the decision to you. That's worth noting. All in all, while I agree with the benefits in principle, I believe social media's data collection and processing is too much power, and being the big brother almost always results in corruption. That is true, but think of all the good we can do. I am thinking about it, but still, eradicating social media altogether can lead to more sophisticated and refined society in the long run, with the absence of absurd populism and sedentary dopamine addiction it brings. Well, what if it allows us... If we allow it, but don't monitor it or collect data to respect people's freedom and discretion? Got it. I think I'll make... They nod in respectful acknowledgement and turn their cameras off. You sit in front of the screen for a long time, so much that you lose track of time, much like almost everyone on Earth does every single day. Turn every Red Dead Redemption character into femboys with mods? Wow. That's definitely a, that's quite the you know... That's quite the, Herculean task. Reoccurring symptoms in elderly. They've noticed a reoccurring pattern of the following symptoms in the elderly citizens: muscle and bone density deterioration, systematic circulatory issues, and blood pressure problems. Sense of strong vertigo and unstable balance. Interesting. Intellectuals are concerned. Local market analysis indicates that the artists and artisans of Artemis are having a hard time staying afloat. Said businesses have been vocal in the past about low local sales volumes and that they need the export activities to keep them in practice. The intellectuals of the Artemis arts and crafts scene are concerned that if the administration doesn't help the local artists and artisans, they will slowly wither away. Collective human experience of their mastery and expertise will be lost forever. Earth social media platforms. I'm going to go through with this one, probably. Prior to your instruction, will proceed forward accordingly. All the best. I mean, I don't really know what to say on this one. Social media is a great propaganda machine or a campaign tool if you'd prefer to be politically correct, and we can make them excellent use of it to promote your agenda on almost any subject. The most prominent issue is that you will not be in control of it. The Earth will have the ropes on what's promoted and what's buried in the endless pits of the algorithm, and that's a bit iffy. Even then, having a direct media channel where you can go live and speak to the people is a great advantage. It's a double-edged sword. It can make or break your reputation. You can use it, but it can be used against you. Depending on your perspective and goals, you can be painted as a leader who strengthens their organic bond between the people of Earth and Artemis, or a pawn who destroys the ideals that the people have in their hearts when coming here as an escape from the AI-based algorithmic lifestyle. In either case, as I'm sure you're aware, Lim will not like it at all, and UEF will love the opportunity to seep into the minds of the Artemisians. And while I tend to refrain from offering my personal opinions on this matter, I'll make an exception. Social media is great. Big cesspool of mind-numbing, brain-rotting, senseless pastime with no real benefit to the individual. The people of Artemis came here to do things instead of watching others do or things or having AI will be an intrinsic part of their self-imposed sedentary life. You'll most definitely be messing with organic structure of the society. For better or worse, I don't know. I'm too old for this. In light of my limited knowledge, social media channels are capable of generating immense individual income through online sales, ad placements, and so on. None of those have realistic effect on a large-scale economic paradigm that can concern a city. Personally detest the social media trends and how the youth has practically lived their life through the screen without any real human connection, but just an old man rumbling. Wouldn't mind it much. I mean, I'm gonna accept it. Oh, that's a lot of AI integration. What the fuck? Way too much AI integration on that decision-making. Jesus. Social dilemma. Mayor De Silva just signed an agreement to integrate the Earth social media platforms with the Artemis social apps. Even though this may seem like a harmless, trendy, and even socially unifying action, there's always benefit in exercising a healthy dose of doubt, especially on any matter where we open ourselves to the UEF and their observatory reach. In this specific case, are we putting our people, city, and way of life in an overly exposed position? Are we opening up a million little peepholes through our electronic devices so that Earth can watch our every move? The question boils down to, is this an innocent entertainment platform or a concealed telescope? Agreed. Alright, decision made. Good day, Mr. Mayor. We would like to receive your insight, opinion, and hopefully valuable assistance in the matter of expanding our trade goals with the Earth in terms of arts and crafts. Surely you're well aware of the quotas the UEF imposes on the current output of resources, materials, and products that Artemisians has the capability of exporting, while Earth's import demand tends to be higher when it comes to raw resources such as minerals, metals, and especially helium-3. They don't share the same enthusiastic import tendencies when it comes to finished goods. Arts and crafts products are the ones that are most frowned upon at the moment, perhaps due to the nature of human creativity embedded into the products and the lack of an AI-based algorithmic aesthetic appeal pattern they present. We have reasons to speculate that Earth is actively trying to eradicate human-made products from their marketplace as much as possible. As such, products represent a different era for them. We'd like your permission to use the high helium-3 export volumes as leverage, specifically to force a de facto trade deal that will dictate an import flexibility on the volume of arts and crafts products by Earth, as long as they want us to keep on exporting high volume of helium-3 for the prices they set. I should mention at this point that we will have to impose an Artemis-wide ban on using AI for manufacturing arts and crafts. Not that people would mind it much, but it will perhaps stagnate AI integration, so that we can push all arts and crafts markets to traditional means, increasing such production to make sure we have enough stock for exporting. This will not make any immediate difference in our import-export volume. We believe it will pave the way for numerous trade deals in similar nature, allowing Artemis to balance the trade scales in a small but sure step. Yeah, I agree with all that. Bluetooth brain rot. My Bluetooth brain rot. Prolonged absence. The Artemis immigration reports that one Henrik Jurgens has been marked absent from the required check-ins for an extended period of time. According to standard procedure, the duration of his absence has exceeded the acceptable threshold, and the matter has now been escalated for your awareness. His residence has reached out by officials, but no response for multiple days. Volume discounts. Textile and houseware products of Artemis originally sold for considerably lower prices on Earth compared to the price tags on Artemis. When inquired, the local businesses defend themselves by saying they're applying volume discounts to exported items. Apparently, the sales volumes to the Earth are significantly higher than the local volumes. The Backbone answers. Reports that unpaid overtime wages have been issued and salary adjustments have been applied across dock operations. Worker attendance and cooperation have improved, and unloading throughout has stabilized despite high import volumes. Union representatives report reduction in grievances related to overwork and compensation. However, the corporate consortium reports increased operating costs at the docks, with reduced short-term profit margins and delayed reinvestment plans. Import pricing pressures is expected to rise as costs are absorbed. The report concludes that labor stability has improved while commercial flexibility has narrowed. Fascinating. Fucking fascinating. Unexpected call from the Artemis security forces, a decision regarding the export policies in arts and crafts. Helium-3 lunar heating system. Oh, -5 helium. Easy buddy, dude. The project aims to bring a self-sustainable and lasting solution to the problematic stabilization systems of the city's heating infrastructure. This has been an ongoing issue since the beginning of the lunar colonization, and while partial improvements have been implemented to alleviate the symptoms of the problem, the new prototype has the potential to solve it once and for all. Hell yeah. Breaking and entering. Multiple citizens, commercial establishments, and local businesses report that someone has broken into their properties, changed the places of various objects inside. Oddly, there's no report of anything missing or evidence. Very funny. Planet-wide protests on Earth. The UEF personnel in Artemis are agitated with the protests that are happening on Earth regarding the new mass euthanasia regulation that will be in effect soon. Holy shit. The Artemis personnel situated on Earth report that there's an excessive amount of pet animals waiting for homes and shelters, and the Earth's resources are at their limit in maintaining these facilities, which led the way to new regulation following the planet-wide animal rights protests. Yikes. Decline in empathy. There's a decline in early onset empathetic abilities, with each new generation of Artemis. The data suggests that this can be linked to the solitary nature that the Artemisian children are growing in, specifically without observing and learning about other life forms and creating bonds with species other than themselves. Here we go. Hope that you had time to consider our proposal regarding the trade dynamic. We're looking forward to hopefully getting your approval and making the unprecedented trade advancement that will help expand our export supply. This makes a lot of sense when you think about how most people in Artemis escape the Earth precisely for this reason, to be free of following their pursuits without the imposition of using AI to maximize capitalistic values of production, speed, and designs that aim mass catering. I think arts and crafts are a prime example of that. I can completely understand why Earth would hate the idea of importing free thought, creativity-made products into their market. They're driven by the idea of using AI to collect and process big data and coming up with the market research-based products that the algorithm suggests will most likely be en masse. The masses. They find the conventional process of creativity to be inefficient, romantic, unnecessary. If you agree to this, it can be a very useful asset for domestic PR, showing that you support the core idea behind why people came to Artemis in the first place, to claim back their right for a natural way of living, and Artemis being an emancipated land from AI imposition, along with all the capital-based polishing that imposition dictates on the human endeavor. Of course, the UAF will not like it, but if we keep it as a domestic rumor and let it spread through word of mouth while you politely refuse to make any comments on the matter of the media, I think the repercussions would be minimal and insignificant. Of course, these things always come with a small amount of risk, so the choice is yours. Tomas? I'm a strong advocate for diversifying the flow of funds that Artemis receives through trade. It's a basic business theory that singular streams of resource, be it products or services, to be traded makes for a very dependent and risky situation. We are never making it to the moon. Agreed. If Artemis were to temporarily lose her mining capabilities by some unfortunate event like significant solar storms or something similar, what would be substituting income generated for the city in the meantime as you try to get the systems running again? Or if Earth were to stock their imported resources such as minerals and helium-3, which they probably do, if they are any wise, what would happen if they get in disagreement? They all cease all imports on resources because they already have plenty. Where would you generate alternative incomes? Bottom line is, the more you diversify the income streams of the city through different trade lines and categories of goods, the healthier and sturdier the city's economy will be. So yes, while this looks like a risky move to make against UEF, it is also considerably mild action. You have to ask yourself this. If not now, when? It would be smart to make a soft moves that will level the economic playground and the balances of power instead of waiting and hoping for the best. Of course, you'll have to consider the domestic issues that this will cause. I'm pretty certain that if you use sales and mining resources as leverage, the Lunar Workers Union will probably feel that their livelihood is being used and risked for the sake of politics. They may not take kindly to that. But every positive decision comes with certain negative complexities. It is to deal with them well that makes a good leader. As always, it's your call, and for that, I do not envy your position. Oh yeah, we're gonna push it. Even if it costs us 3 currency right now. Everything's so expensive. Oh, pet animal import and adoption center. That's... Oh fuck, that gave me a lot of income. This particular project's been on the shelf for a while, but was brought back to the attention of the Science Coalition Social Sciences and Services branch as part of their annual report on the mental well-being of the Artemisian citizens. They suggest that making the adoption of pet animals available will be a considerable positive effect on the people and help signs and symptoms of depression. Sure. Collective memory issues? Mayor De Silva, with a surprisingly aggressive move, decided to pursue the export of handmade arts and crafts items to Earth, where such products have very little market value and consumer interest. It is speculated that in order to achieve this, the mayor used a series of trade strategies that rested less than favorably with the UEF. Hopefully, there will not be backlash due to the straining in trade relations between Artemis and the UEF. The citizens of Artemis surely remember what happened last time the existing trade dynamics were pushed too far, even if the mayor does not. Cutting corners. Hospital reports continued cases of depression linked to dissatisfaction with personal appearance. Artemis security forces confirmed that illegal cosmetic procedures persist in unregulated locations, with associated health risks remaining unchanged. Travel records indicate that citizens continue to leave Artemis for cosmetic treatments on Earth. The report notes that contraband cosmetic products continue to circulate, with additional confiscations recorded in recent inspections. A study in white. Data Analysis and Crime Prevention Department of the ASF just found out that multiple cases of death by blunt head trauma were reported in certain periods of time, creating clusters of similar cases in the timeline of Artemis. Moreover, it's evident that almost all the victims were found alone in the homes. All crime scenes have 2 things in common: blood on the ceiling and rocks in the deceased people's pockets. What the fuck? Blood on the ceiling. No gravitational adjustment. Oh, helium cost, of course. The project aims to upgrade the artificial gravity stabilization panels below the city grounds in order to fix the recurring issues of momentary errors and glitches in the city's gravity field. This will hopefully establish a safe and self-sustainable gravity infrastructure. Yes. We have too much helium to not be investing in stuff like that. Earth Good Shopping Center. Yes! The project's goal is to provide people of Artemis a wider range of available products and services with flexible price options. This will hopefully boost the morale of the Artemisians and potentially ease the financial challenges of maintaining a good living. Of course. Hell yeah. The basics secured. The Artemis Science Coalition reports accelerated progress in regenerative food production and recyclable water systems following targeted funding approval. Early trials indicate improved resilience in food supply, planning, and reduced waste in water circulation. Research teams report clearer prioritization and faster iteration cycles under focused funding. However, internal budget reviews note that oxygen and shelter-related research has been paused, increasing dependence on existing systems. External finance liaisons report heightened scrutiny from Earth-based funders, who express concern over sustainability investments that may reduce long-term import demand. The report concludes that biological self-sufficiency has advanced alongside increased financial sensitivity. I'm trying to get these 5 boosted up as much as possible. AI integration, I would prefer to just be all the way down. An unexpected call from Artemis security forces. Uh-oh, we're gonna fucking die. Owie. Owie, owie. Owie, 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 zowie, my bonies. It's early in the morning when you receive a call from Colonel Solomon. His voice is collected, yet you can sense a concealed heaviness as he expresses an urgent need to see you in person. It seems whatever the subject is, it's too sensitive to talk over the phone and receive a report on. You agree to see him immediately, and before long you hear 2 knocks at the door, followed by Jess poking her head in. Hey boss, the Colonel's here. His eyes are red and bags under them prominent, hinting that he's been working non-stop for the past couple of days. Excuse me. He waits until Jess leaves the room, and once she does, he speaks. His voice is as collected as ever, yet low in volume, as if anybody would be listening on the conversation. Mr. Mayor, thank you for seeing me on such short notice. We have new information regarding the terrorist attacks and what we believe will be their next move. As per your instructions and support, we followed up on both the leads. Regarding the lead within the syndicate, we've successfully recruited the miner through our union contacts and briefed him. We've just received the information he gathered. As for the classified interrogation documents that the UEF officials have confiscated, we've successfully analyzed the information and just received the reports on the findings. We've also included the anonymous letter we received into our investigation. It seems that the implication in the last sentence of the letter supports our findings. How do I like the narrative so far? We'll see what happens when it comes to the, we'll see what happens when we get to, like, a major breaking point. So far, we're just building stuff up. And that's okay, but it doesn't feel nearly as passionate. From what we've gathered, analyzed, there's a lot of writing, don't get me wrong. A lot of stuff is being said. But nothing is being induced yet. But mostly because stuff like this is like, it feels a little dry. It does feel a little dry. There's a lot of words that don't really, like, correlate to anything meaningful. From what we've gathered, analyzed, cross-checked, and verified, they're planning another attack, this time on one of the space shuttle ports. But that's okay. I think the game is still okay. Doing the specific towards their target. Unfortunately, sir, we only know that the target will likely be one of the ports. Seems that the shuttles are a high-priority target for them. Yes, sir, it seems that way. We don't know the specifics of why that is the case, but our analysts are still working on the matter to figure out what our goal is. Another critical intel we found is the date, sir. We have solid reason to believe that the attacks will happen 2 days from now. What's your action plan? The standard operational procedure in a multiple potential target scenario such as this one would be to divide and deploy our units to each suspected location in order to cover all possibilities. We already had a detailed action plan on that same day. We conduct routine risk projections on all sensitive events, and we had our eyes on the symposium for any confrontation between independence movement activists and UEF. The original plan was to deploy our security forces around the symposium building, but for now, we think the decision should be made by you. What's your professional opinion? It's an impossible decision, sir, but speaking strictly in terms of potential number of casualties and the public distress, stopping a terrorist attack would be a priority over stopping the protests. Of course, I'm well aware of how violent and bloody the crowd confrontations can easily turn, and what potential negative effects such as this scenario can have on our relations with the UEF and consequently, our way of living. All of these reasons make me hesitant on insisting any opinion's validity. You want me to decide right now? We have until tonight to make the decision, sir. Tomorrow will be spent on strategizing, logistics planning, recon tours, and other preparations in accordance with your decision. What if we divide the forces? Would be spreading them too thin, sir. The dividing units would be inefficient to stop the protests from becoming violent or perform a thorough search of supervision in the ports. Unfortunately, we have to make a single choice. I understand. Respectfully, we'll be expecting your decision by the end of the day in order to start the necessary arrangements, sir. And for what it's worth, I'd like to express that I am not unfamiliar with the heaviness of the burden that falls on your shoulders. I wish the best for you, sir, as well as the people of Artemis. With that, Solomon gives you a soldier's solemn salute and exits your office. Well, I know what I'm doing. I'm fucking protecting the the shuttle station. Your lung feels like it got caught open. Have you been coughing a lot, Cherry? You should take like a Mucinex, or I don't remember what the word is. They have cough suppressants that you can take. Broadcast and wireless systems playing on the edge. Report indicates continued unauthorized moon football activity in restricted zones around the city. Security forces confirm that children persist in trespassing in low-stability areas to simulate moon football conditions, resulting in repeated injury cases. Amateur teams continue to report lack of sponsorship and recognition with no centralized body to support the sport. Seasonal demand for Earth sports travel remains high, and UEF notices regarding illegal streams and related legal actions against Artemisians continue to be a growing issue. Parents and teachers agree on screen time. A cumulative analysis reports that previous term's parent-teacher conference suggests that the parents are happy with the informative and non-entertainment form of social media that is prevalent in Artemis. The teachers and parents agree that this keeps the children from spending senseless screen time, so they can instead focus on actual hobbies and interests, which is far more beneficial in constructing a highly functional, result-oriented society in the long run. Local market analysis indicates that the artists and artisans of Artemis are having a hard time staying afloat. Said businesses have been vocal in the past about the low local sales volumes and that they need the export activities to keep them in practice. The intellectuals of the Artemis arts and crafts scene are concerned that if the administration doesn't help the local artists and artisans, they will slowly wither away, and the collective human experience of their mastery and expertise will be lost forever. Oh, that one already had a pop-up. Meet with Sam at a cafe and have coffee together. Well, I'd rather make that decision on the cops. You sit at your desk what feels like days, but in reality, it's only been a couple hours since your meeting with the Colonel. You know, because you catch yourself checking the time every couple minutes. You also catch yourself looping back into the same single question again and again. Artisans more in the long term. Look at you think, talking about the benefits in the long term. What about the short term? What about the people who may die and the day after tomorrow because of the decisions you feel cornered? The sudden ring in your office phone pulls you from your deep thought. You pick up the phone and it's Jess. Hey boss, I got Miss Sam on the line. Sam, why would she... Oh, you realize you completely forgot about it. Thanks, Jess. You can put her through. Right on. You can hear a slight giggle in her voice. She sounds genuinely happy for you. You can't help but smile a little at her enthusiasm. You hear a click and a second later, Sam's soft voice is on the other side of the line. David. But about our date today, I don't think I'll be able to make it. Oh, no problem at all. The joy in her voice leaves its place to worry. I mean, I don't want to be nosy, but is everything okay? Maybe some fresh air would help. She doesn't sound offended or upset at all, which only makes you feel worse. Nothing major, it's just that some last-second mayoral stuff come in. It's an emergency and I can't really share much. Oh, okay, I understand. It's no problem. I'm here if you need someone to talk to, so you can call anytime. We're gonna fucking turn her down. We're slowly turning her down. Miserable, dude. No, we want to be like the most miserable little, neat president ever. We can reschedule. Take care now. You too. With that, you hang up the phone and dive headfirst back into the deep, grim contemplation. Alright. Well, of course I'm gonna protect the port. Oh. As the evening inches closer, you sit alone in your office, pondering what will become of Artemis's 2 days from now, right around these hours. Riots. Mass hysteria. Casualties by the dozens. You feel stuck, frustrated with the insufficient power your position provides you. It's almost funny in a broken way when you think about it. You couldn't even imagine having such an unreal amount of power a couple weeks ago. People reporting to you, expecting your support, relying on you about the future. But now it doesn't feel remotely enough. At least not enough to remove you from the path of the double-edged sword that is the day after tomorrow. And that's when you hear 3 slow, strong knocks on your door. Who is it? There's a brief pause, and before you can say anything else, the door slowly swings open. A man stands at the door. Hands in pocket, posture casual, an inconspicuous smile on his face, and a twinkle in his eye. He seems genuinely happy to see you. Oh, look at this motherfucker. The Void Russo. The firstest mayor of Artemis ever. What an honor to finally meet you. Who are you? Just an admirer. Actually, no. That'd be putting it too lightly. I'm a huge fan. The biggest, perhaps. And I've been watching you very closely. He stops, chuckles at himself, and slaps his own forehead softly. That came out all wrong, didn't it? Creepy much. No, I meant I've been watching you on TV and stuff. You know, like a random civilian would. And I must say, I love what I've seen. So elegant, yet so sharp and prominent. Like watching ballet. I'm guessing you're supporting Lim? L-I-M? L-I-M, Schmel-I-am. Does it really matter? What matters is you. Me? I'm an unknown constant in the equation. I'm a nobody, personally. A regular anomaly. A replaceable necessity. But you are the conditioned variable. You are the fork in the road where the river splits. You are what this whole microcosm has been waiting for. I've been dreaming about you, you know? He closes his eyes for a moment and sighs. About the things you can do, we can do, together. He pauses for a second, then opens his eyes wide. You know what they call me out there, in the dark alleys, at the dive bars and shitty pubs, whispering name after hours? The Void. He flinches with your words as if he wasn't expecting you to know him by that name. the Void. Veto the Void Russo. Probably because they think of me as an abyss, a black hole, sucking the life out of everything around. They're wrong, but fear is always useful, so I don't correct them. They don't need to know that I am an integral part of what makes the whole city function. But unlike them, you do need to know it, because I want to work together. He points outside to the streets of Artemis. I want to make this work with you. You want to go with UEF and cooperate with Earth? I'm in. You'd rather go fully independent? I'm there. Let's go fucking mental. Whatever you want to do, I want to be the first to fall in line. Why would you want that? Because there will always be a me, but there will not necessarily always be a you, and I want to protect you. ChatGPT helped with the narrative, so it would seem. That's the vibe I'm getting as well. I want the pieces on the board to be permanent, stable. That way, I can build strategies on reliable constants and stretch my plans further into the future. I can see my way through the unknown. I'm not saying cooperate with me, I'm saying let me help you. Let me help you stay in the office for as long as you can, and I ask for nothing in return. Just so you get to succeed and keep the office, so that I know what I have to deal with. I have to deal with the mayor and his actions, even if they are against me. Love it. Now I know what I can work on. Let me study him. I want an adversary that I can count on in terms of longevity and consistency, because if you fail, who knows what will happen? Will there be another mayor? Will they change the city's status and try for a federal system? Will they scrap the system altogether and have Artemis directly governed by Earth? Who knows? I sure don't. But if you succeed, no matter through independence or cooperation, you'll stay. And that's a peaceful thought. That I can work with. Go on. He smiles a genuine smile at your interest, like a child that finds a playmate on its first day of school. Look, by refusing me, you will not be stopping me. Sure, you can stop me, the person, the void, the man called Vito Russo, but I am a constant, in the sense that somebody else will take my place, because that's how societies work. They birth the likes of me no matter how ideally or structure them. Managing me, taking advantage of me, even, is much more efficient than trying to annihilate me, which in the process of doing so inevitably creates another, different version of me that you'll have to spend another resource on figuring out, on strategizing, on destroying, and that cycle will go on. And on, and on, and on, and on, and on. You get my point. It will go on until you are gone, but if you accept me, I will help you. I will not ask. I would love a I'm gonna form the Yakuza. I will not ask for favors. I won't ask you to look the other way. Whenever you lawfully arrest my men to stop any of my operations, as long as it's through proper channels, which your office will confine you into anyway, you win, fair and square. Regardless of your actions, I will continue helping you stay in office. You're very confident. Only because I know you can't end me. I am what runs in the city's veins. But you can work with me, use me, utilize my powers to make this place a better city, and as a consequence, stay in office. That way, I won't have to keep looking over your shoulder, trying to see just what will come my way once you trip and fall, because that's what will happen if you go chasing rabbits with your new idealist pals, be it Lim, UEF, corporate puppets, or union workers. They will bring your end, they will suck you dry for the sake of their agendas, whereas I will keep you standing tall, because I have no expectation from you. Nobody has to know. You think the others want to use me? Think! Think? I'm promising and underlining, highlighting, emphasizing, stressing that fact that they definitely will. That's how I know that you need me, because all the other charlatans wiggling around you to get their little peck at your power, they will slowly eat you away for the sake of their own plans. But me, I'm a pragmatist, you see. I work with what I have, to make the best out of any given situation. I don't have ideals or an agenda, I just make do with what I got. I would rather have you prosper and adopt your MO, instead of pecking away at you in greed until you're nothing but bare bones. Can you say the same for the fresh acquaintances your new position brought along? I don't trust any of them. As you shouldn't. Bravo! Go ahead, tell me a name. Better yet, tell me one you'd like better. The one that seems more trustworthy, more honest. Let me shatter the illusion to you. Just for kicks. Humor me. Ravi or Mira? Here. Ah, Little Miss Mira Chen. Our very own Little Miss Moonshine. That doesn't sound right. Anyways, you got me. I got no dirt on Mira. She's clean as they come. Clean as a whistle. Almost too clean. Especially for someone who's leading an independent movement, wouldn't you say? I mean, at least feel that way. But maybe I'm just weird like that. You know, though. You know, you'd expect some grit, some rough and tough, some potential to rumble and tumble from someone who'd rise the ranks of an independence movement to become their leader, wouldn't you? Especially considering her young age. When you think about the violent tendencies of such a movement, how the desire for independence almost always comes with a touch of conflict, at least historically, how they'd inevitably find themselves in violence no matter how peaceful they wish or claim to be. Well, she must have done something very, very significant to earn such a position, mustn't she? Something not everyone else would dare, perhaps. Something not just anybody can stomach. But surprisingly, nothing of such in her past, and believe me, I looked everywhere. Instead, what she has is two parents, who are among the first people that came to Artemis, very influential people too, especially in intellectual circles, true artists, really. Her father was a famous producer and director, while her mother was a stylist, a painter, and a sculptor. They were the ones who pushed the idea at the very first anti-AI rallies for the sake of art and human creativity. We didn't even have that much of an advanced generative AI then. The UEF blamed them for provoking the people and seeking attention to gain popularity. Hey, Cosmic. How's the update? I think it's pretty good. I never really played the game too much before the update, so everything's running smoothly. I don't know what their original intention was, but turns out they were right about the AI. Ironic, isn't it? Anyway, what happened was that they gained more and more popularity and eventually became the de facto leaders of the anti-AI movement among the intellectuals of Artemis. And when our little Mira grew up, feeling overshadowed by the fame of her parents, guess what their little princess decided to become? Yup, an independence warrior. Who knows, maybe she could become a limb supporter, even if her parents were a couple of nobodies. But the fact is, she'd have never risen to leadership of the whole movement if her parents didn't lobby aggressively for her. Our little Miss Mira Chen is a nepo baby warrior princess for independence. Makes me giggle every time. I'm having fun. Are you having fun? Where's the proof of any of this? I don't really care. That's like, I don't care if anybody's a nepo baby. The ending to get updated, but glad it's working. It's got potential. Yeah, I'm definitely kind of excited to see how it goes, for sure. If I told you everything, there wouldn't be any fun in it, would there? These are just carrots on a stick to convince you. It's not like I'm your employee and I report to you, but hey, at least I'm honest about my marketing. Go ahead, pick another one of your new pals. Alvarez or Petrov? Petrov. Ah, the big, righteous brute with a gentle heart. A real philosopher, that one. A true thinker. An idealist, too, don't you think? He wouldn't budge one bit on the goals of making a better future for the working class, not even one bit. He'd do anything to give them better conditions, anything at all. Which makes the fact that he's a degenerate at all the more ironic. On a completely irrelevant note, have you ever wondered about just where the pilot practices of Pen Program are performed? Like, you probably need workers to perform tests on before going public with such groundbreaking technology through symposiums and stuff. Personally, I wonder about that all the time. Oh, this is gonna be a fucked up sentence, isn't it? Thoughts on bread? Oh, tasty! About just where on and on whom would be the most optimal choice to do these tests. You'd probably need a secluded place, a controlled environment where you can bend the narrative before it reaches a mass audience, especially if something bad were to happen. And then I find myself wondering about just who would have the perfect test subjects under the very hand to provide me with such exclusive conditions, along with a very conveniently clear set of needs for those very same people, which I can easily fulfill in return. Just where could you find such a man to purchase? A man of virtue who'd sacrifice anything for the people he's trying to protect, including his integrity. I'm a very curious person, so I wondered about stuff like that all the time. Do you? As you can hopefully see a little clearer, Artemis is a fairly complex place where you peek behind the curtain and nobody's truly what they seem. They don't really care about Artemis, they care about their own little fame and legacy. They're hypocrites, opportunists, and panders. Vultures. Except me. You see, you're not the mayor of some futuristic utopian Tomorrowland, you're the mayor of a purgatory, and everyone you met so far is here for a reason. Now that I think about it, I guess that makes me the devil. But the devil you know and all, you know? As a final gesture of goodwill, I offer you my forces for your big day. Yes, like I said, I know all about it. Who do you think sent the anonymous letter? Doors? Ports? Get it? But anyway, you go ahead and deploy your security forces on the ports to make sure the terrorists don't get a chance to be naughty. My crew will keep the symposium in check and see to it that limb protesters don't mess with the UEF members at the event. A third option, a way out of the ever-damning dilemma of resource scarcity and governance. What do you say? I accept your offer. Hell yeah. I accept your offer. That's very wise of you. Rest assured that you will accomplish more with me than you could ever do so with those selfish two-faced charlatans. My forces will be present at the symposium disguised as ordinary people. If things start getting out of hand, they will intervene and de-escalate the situation. With that, he turns around and quietly leaves your office, as if a satisfied devil floating away after convincing you on a rotten deal of your soul. A moment later, it's like he was never there to begin with, and as you sit in silence thinking about what you just did, you remember Jess. Where is she? How did he just walk in here? Go check. You step outside and the desk is empty, but a moment later she wrestles into the office. Hey, boss. Everything alright? It's the damnest thing, boss. A little boy came running in and told me his mother fainted just down the street. I rushed to check on her, calling an ambulance, and stayed with them until the EMTs arrived. Luckily, she's alright. You've been duped, Jess. You've been duped, Jess. Her face suddenly changes. She gazes into your room and then back at you with a series of flashbacks. She thinks back to everything that happened. What the fuck happened when I was gone? I want you to get me everything on Vito the Void Russo. You got it, boss. With that, you step back into your office and start waiting for Colonel Solomon's call and the moment of decision. Before long, the phone rings and Jess puts Solomon through. His voice is unwavering. Unlike you, he must have prepared himself for the moment. Sir, we need your decision to start the operational preparations. Send the security forces to the ports. Your words echo through the stretched moment of absolute stillness. Sir, yes, sir. You hang up the phone and head home for what you know will be a sleepless night. Very good, dude. 63% of players chose to accept Vito's offer? Well, yeah! When was the last time I shaved my legs? Oh god, probably like a full year now. Probably a little over a year. 92% of players chose to send the security forces to the port. Well, yeah. I don't need to buy any more helium-3. Oh, I have +5 income now! What is going on with this guy? What's this guy? New gravitational stabilization base. Helium-3 heating facility. Is this the heating facility? That's something. Well, our economy and our helium is going crazy, so I'm pretty happy about that. I wish I could have invested in football, though. Never search for defense against mosquitoes? That is true. Alright, turn 5. I don't think we're doing too bad. I don't know. When it comes to suzerain, I guess I thought the same thing, but... as far as suzerain goes, I'm really bad at the economics. This game is pretty... this game's a little easier than suzerain, though, because the decisions come one at a time. Which is good for my simple-minded, you know, my simple-minded brain. With that being said, that's all I got for today, lads. I'm gonna see everybody tomorrow for, some Team Fortress 2. Who would have thought? I'm gonna go eat some breakfast. I don't know what I'm gonna eat, though. Ooh, stretch. Oh, stretch. I hope everybody has a good rest of their day. I'll be very busy. I will be. I'm gonna be eating lunch, and then I'm gonna be writing and reading some more. And then I gotta take a shower, etc, etc, etc. And then tomorrow, I don't actually have anything scheduled. Or actually, hang on. Actually, in like 2 hours, I gotta be somewhere, I think. Well, regardless. I hope everybody has a good rest of their day. I will see everybody later. Bye-bye. Johnny.